So, how has your spring been?
The spring?
Yeah.
It has been very busy in terms of preparing the release for the album.
Mm.
But maybe actually a bit less busy for me in terms of like my role in the band, because I spend a lot of time producing, and then it was a bit more about creating all the stuff around the release and releasing the videos and creating content for that. So it's been busy, but there's also been space, I think, to really just appreciate all the cool feedback that has come towards us.
Yeah.
But very exciting period, I think.
Yeah, I can figure that. You mentioned the feedback and stuff. Do you like yourself read like the fan forum on Facebook, or where do you kind of go to find what people think about the music?
I'm curious sometimes to read comments on YouTube. I especially do it just when a new video is out.
Yeah.
Just to get those first reactions. And then Instagram comments and Facebook comments.
Yeah.
But I think YouTube is something special because people are almost writing in real time while watching, so it's a very unfiltered response. So yeah, it can be a fun read.
Yeah. Do you watch the reaction videos?
Yeah, some of them I do. That's interesting also.
Yeah.
It has become such a big genre on
That's
YouTube.
True.
It's a special thing, but I see its appeal. Like it's always fun to if you yourself is very fascinated about something, it's cool to see someone else have that feeling.
Yeah,
I guess.
True.
I've had that experience at least. So.
Yeah. In a way that if there's a song and there's like a drop coming and you really want to see how someone reacts to that, then you're like, okay, let's see how that feels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah. And well, speaking of new music, there's Witness. It's out now. And how do you recall the recording process being like?
It was kind of similar to Applause of a Distant Crowd. So we went into the studio to record drums in late February. And for that, we went to Gothenburg, Sweden, to Top Floor Studios, and spent, I think, 4 days there, recording all the tracks. And then I took those drum files back home to Denmark and pretty much isolated myself in my family's vacation home.
Yeah.
For many months, recording, producing the album. So that collided with the Danish lockdown. But it's already a very it is not a very social experience to record. So we didn't run into any problems about not being able to be many people together. So it was basically me in that vacation home, recording guitars and vocals and some percussion, and then Nikolai came there and recorded bass, and Martin sent me his keyboard files, So he made those at his home studio, and eventually I made some rough mixes of the songs, and when they sounded great, we decided that we had, like, the production was finished, so we sent the files to Jacob Hansen, the Danish producer and engineer who mixed it. And that ended up with having the first single ready in November last year.
Yeah. So it's been a long ride, all the code stuff, and so, like, do you have, when you mentioned that you kind of isolated yourself in a recording studio, do you have like a movable studio, or do you have like a fixed location where your stuff is, where you do all the mixing? And
it's quite portable, I would say. I was lucky to have like to be in that vacation home pretty uninterrupted. Like the rest of my family didn't use it.
They didn't need vacation.
Like it's my parents who own it, but they let me be there. And it's basically just a laptop and a recording interface, and then a good mic, and it's a good sounding room in that house also. So it was a nice place to record acoustic guitar and percussion. Yeah, and then I had some speakers set up also. But yeah, it's very portable. So I'm not using any big desk or anything. It's just it's very yes.
Yeah, sounds very modern, obviously. And last time I spoke with you in an interview context in like 2019, when you were on like Bentley and Haken tour, you mentioned that the albums you do, they're kind of reactions to each other, you know, in the sense that Applause was a reaction to In Mazes. Do you feel like Witness was, again, a reaction to what you did on your last album musically?
Yeah, I think so. I think with Applause we were excited to create something a bit more mellow sounding after In Mazes, which was quite like had this mechanical, very intense vibe, I think.
Industrial gent.
Yes. So creating something that was a bit more like lively and organic and not as heavy overall felt exciting at that point. But having done that, at this point we just felt curious about writing something heavy again, and something that sounded more streamlined. So yeah, I think it's very much a reaction, because I find a lot of excitement in creating having a discography that is very dynamic. I think that makes me very hungry, at least, about what comes next, because it's going to be something. It's going to be something different. So yeah,
and it's an art form of itself, you know, to make albums that have some cohesivity to them and stuff like that. So musically speaking, there's a lot of different stuff always going on, and now you kind of chose to feature the Shaman, the rap electronic group, on these Black Applause. Where did that sort of come from?
That was yeah, it was born from writing the demo and having this hip hop ish beat in the song.
Yeah.
And it felt natural to sing in the first verse, but kind of boring to have the same kind of verse happening the second time. So in the demo, I'm rapping in that second verse, and it was fun to do, but we wanted to have something that sounded more evil.
Yeah.
And have like a lower pitched voice, and also I think that cool American accent.
Oh yeah.
So we started searching the web for someone who could do that. And I basically searched YouTube just for videos, like compilation videos of rap with low-pitched vocals.
Oh yeah.
And I think in one of the comments, someone mentioned Shaman. And I looked them up on Spotify, and I really liked the vocals. It was exactly what we were looking for. So eventually we contacted the vocalist called Bless, and he was up for doing that. So we sent him the demo, and he wrote his own lyrics for that verse, and sent us some takes of him rapping it.
Yeah.
And we put it into the production, and yeah. So we haven't actually met him. It's just it's been like an online collaboration, you could say.
So you basically put to YouTube like evil rap with American accent.
Yes.
then you found
it was almost something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
YouTube is so big at this point, so you can find almost anything, I guess.
Yeah, and because Google owns them, I assume that you can find anything from them. But you mentioned that you hadn't met him. Have you had any plans to maybe, if you like go to America or he comes to Europe, that you could do like a live set where he features on the track?
That would be really cool. It's if it's possible in terms of us all being at the same place at the right time, it would be a must to do it. So no concrete plans of doing it right now, but I hope it can happen sometime in the future. Yeah.
And speaking of the live thing that is so rare these days, you actually just had the first set of shows in Denmark right now, isn't that right?
Yes.
How does it feel to be back on the stage again with the real audience?
Yeah, it was quite overwhelming because there were like several new factors at play. So one of them is that we're playing new songs, obviously, which is always special because it's like you have to get used to how to move on stage while you play them, and when to breathe when singing, when doing the vocals and all that stuff. So there's the new element there, and then there was the element of people sitting down.
Yeah, that's true. That's new.
Which is it can be strange when you're headbanging on stage.
Sure.
And people are sitting on chairs. But we did have some people headbanging while sitting down, so it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very curious about how that would turn out, because I think as a performer on stage, you always try to act like how you want the audience to act, so to spark a reaction. But yeah, it had to be a little bit different this time. But I think it was very cool.
Mm.
Then we also have a new light show with us that is created specifically for this set list that we're playing. So yeah, lots of new things happening. But I think it all came together very well. So yeah, we're 2 shows down out of a total of 5 now.
Yeah.
In Denmark.
Yeah.
So yeah, it feels exciting.
Yeah, very cool. Did you at any point feel like, oh man, I'm so rusty, I haven't played live in a long time?
Yeah, it's always special when you revisit old songs.
Yeah.
Like some of them just disappear totally from my mind.
Yeah.
And then when I sit down with the guitar, it's like the first chord. When I remember that, the whole song unfolds. So it's like opening a little door, and then the full song is in there. So it just need that first to push that first button. But yeah, we had some good rehearsals, and I think we were in good shape. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get the first chord right, and after that you can play the open string like chugging away, and nobody will notice.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, were there any songs from Witness that you thought that really work live?
Yeah, I think they all work quite well. And I also think they were all written very much with a live energy in mind.
Yeah.
It's I think generally they're a bit more high energy, these songs, on average, compared to Applause of a Distant Crowd.
True.
And yeah, it worked really well.
Cool.
They're not I always think about how the songs will have to be played live. So there's also an element of not having too many guitar layers, for example. So that the studio album can be translated to the stage pretty easily.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
So yeah, I think we were well prepared.
Cool. Yeah, I hope to see that live soon. This is a weird question, but I recall at one time when you were first announcing Witness that there were some inconsistency in the track listing in Bandcamp versus your press release, and Head Mounted Sideways was actually towards the end of the album. Was this a mistake or a last minute sort of, oh no, let's put it away?
Yeah, that must have been a mistake. I think we had the sequence ready pretty early on, I would say.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I
can't really remember.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. I just noticed that, wait, this one thing says that it's the second track, and the other thing says it's the second last track, or something like that. And I was like, oh, what's this? Okay, but it was a mistake.
That was just to teach you.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that worked. And so something new also is that you are endorsed now by the Balaguer guitars, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, probably. And what is something that you look for in a guitar that you want to add to your sort of setup and play live with?
Well, a very important thing, I think, is that it has an Evertune bridge, which for those who don't know, it means that the tuning just stays.
It just stays.
It stays there.
Yeah.
It doesn't move.
Yeah.
So that's very comforting for me as a as a vocalist also, because I can just speak to the audience between songs,
true.
not having to worry about looking down at a tuner, which can be distracting.
True.
So that's a really nice feature, I think. And then I also I like guitars that have a sort of a more of a classic look.
Yeah.
I'm not so fond of some like more sci-fi looking instruments. I like that. I really like old Fender shapes. And then I thought the shape that my guitar has, it's called the Gaia shape, was a cool sort of hybrid between a Jazzmaster maybe and a Firebird. So something new, but still with a nod towards like the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like some technical things, like it's important that the scale is long because I tune so low.
Yeah.
And high output pickups because we use a lot of distortion. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I would say that we're not going to see you play like an headless 8-string guitar made of aluminum or something in the future.
No, it's not really for me. But I totally understand why other people will take them. But yeah, it's not really my thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's cool to have something that's like a familiar shape, but with the twist that you can play the modern stuff with.
Yeah.
So something that I've been wondering since like ages was that I saw you at some point playing like back in 2016 or something. You played the In Mazes with like an orchestra, and that sort of never really came to any proper release. Is that still coming, or is that a lost cause at this point?
So yeah, that was a like a one-off show that happened because there was this collaboration between like the conservatory with rhythmic music in Copenhagen and a classical conservatory, and because I attended the rhythmic conservatory, we were invited to play at this show together with classically trained musicians. And I think something went wrong in terms of distributing the video files.
Yeah.
So I asked for them several times, I think, but never received an answer. I think that happened to some of the other people who played there also. So it's just been difficult to get a hold of the material. And then there's also the element that it's Felix, our old drummer, playing. So it also feels dated in that sense. So I actually would be more curious about doing it again.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now you have so many other albums.
So and also play more songs maybe.
Yeah, true.
So I think something like that happening seems more like there's a higher chance of that happening. But I think I'll still try to hunt those old files.
yeah, it would be at this point, good to at least someday get them.
Yeah, exactly. So so don't consider it a totally closed thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there were just some unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, it does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
So you have like a couple of music videos done with the Finnish company, the Rivata Visuals. How was the process of like working with the guys? Did you come to shoot them somewhere, or did they fly to you, or how was it remote all the way through?
Well, it was different from video to video. So for the first single, Head Mounted Sideways, they came to Denmark and filmed us in a in a studio, playing our parts, and then they recorded, filmed the B-roll footage in Finland.
Okay.
For Straight Lines, it was purely done in Finland. And for the latest release, single release, These Black Claws, we filmed ourselves in Denmark, like found a Danish guy filming us, and Adam found someone in Sweden to film him. And we then sent that footage to Rivata.
Yeah, truly.
And they made their the B-roll there. So it's been mixed, but I'm very impressed at how it all came together. With the pandemic being an obstacle.
Sure.
I'm really impressed at what they created.
Yeah, it's very cool to see that you can do all sorts of great stuff, even if there's like so many obstacles, different countries, pandemic, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, it's very powerful that I think that to know that stuff like that can happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's good to know in the future when and if we hit another pandemic.
Let's stick to the one we have right now and deal with that. Is there some video that was your favorite? Counting, of course, the 24 Light Years, which wasn't like a Rivata production. Is there like any of those 4 videos? What is one your favorite?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I have I have a least favorite. But I think it was just such a special thing to release the first one because it was sort of coming out of hiding.
True. Yeah.
After having recorded this album, so it was the first impression we made after a long time away. So just seeing people's reaction to that was very special. So that I guess that makes it the most unique. Out of the 4.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And something I recall when I spoke to you last time in the Haken tour way back, you mentioned when I asked that if you felt like you were like a part of the Danish scene and stuff, and you said that you don't really feel like you have like that you're everything happening elsewhere than Denmark. And now you have been like in the Danish news, and you were performing at the GAFFA ceremony and stuff. Do you feel like it's changed, that you're now even like more rooted to Denmark?
Yeah, I think we are getting our name more out there, which is really nice. I heard that they just played 24 Light Years on like a more mainstream Danish radio channel.
Cool.
And I think up until that point we had only or mostly been played on like the metal shows. And that news piece in television was really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely getting more out there with this album, and yeah, feels really good. So now I'm just looking forward to play some more Danish festivals, for example. It's I think that would be the next step.
It's fun. It so kind of feels like it's working backwards. That I wish we could play in our homeland. You've already played like everywhere else, and now you're like, oh, we want to play in Denmark, please.
Yeah, it's it's I don't know why why home means so much, but it's I'll have to think about that. There's something special about it.
Yeah, like it says, no one's a prophet on their own homeland, or however that saying goes. So
yeah,